So friends, let's see this tender coconut ice cream. So here I got some tender coconut from the vendor because they know how to cut the coconut and extract the malai. That's what we're going to be using. So this is the malai that you get inside the tender coconut. So I got about 1 cup of it. I'm going to add this to my mixer jar and I'm going to make it into a very smooth paste. So this is the ground paste. Now I'm going to take 100 ml of fresh cream. I'm going to add this to my mixer jar. Alternatively, you can also use a hand whisk for this recipe. But I'm making it in a mixer pot because I've got many requests to show how to work with a mixer jar. So I'm going to be adding now 1/4 cup of condensed milk and the tender coconut to this mixer jar. Now I have a recipe for homemade condensed milk. I'll leave a link below. And we're going to grind all of this to a very smooth paste. See that all of the coconut is nicely ground. You're going to add this to an ice cream mold. And then you can just stick some ice cream sticks into it and freeze it. And that's how easy this tender coconut ice cream is. So friends, let's make this lovely milkshake, a chiku milkshake. So here I have taken 3 ripe chikus and 1 cup of milk. I've taken some ice cubes and half a cup of khajur or dates and some mixed nuts. So I've just chopped the nuts up fine. So first I've washed the chikus really well and I'm going to cut them up like this. Take off the seeds. I'm retaining the peel for this milkshake, but if you don't want the peel in the milkshake, you can peel it as well. Discard the seeds. Now chikus are available, all through the year, and especially during the summer. So everyone wants to have some nice cooling drink. So this is a nice sugar-free milkshake recipe in where we're not using sugar but we're using dates to bring out the sweetness and of course the natural sweetness of the chikus. Now we're just going to cut them up into half so that it's easier to work with in the blender. We're going to add the dates as well as the nuts to a mixer jar. That is the cashew nuts and the almonds, and I've also sliced some thin almonds just for a garnish. And we're just going to grind this to a coarse paste. Now I'm just taking my blender and I'm going to be adding these chikus and this paste. And now all we have to do is just add the milk and blend it to a very smooth milkshake texture. So I'm working with cold milk And of course, I'm adding ice cubes. If you don't want the ice cubes, you can skip that if you don't want it very cold. But milkshakes are generally supposed to be had cold. So now we're just going to blend everything together, and that's it, guys. This amazing and delicious and healthy chiku milkshake is all ready to enjoy. My cassata ice cream recipe. It's real fun to make and really delicious. So here I made about a liter of vanilla ice cream. I'll leave the recipe link of how I made the vanilla ice cream. Now here I've just layered my loaf tin with some cling foil or plastic foil, because that way it'll be very easy to lift the cassata ice cream once it's ready. Now I've just got some sliced cake. I'll leave a recipe for my vanilla sliced cake cake recipe too. I've just cut them up into very thin slices like this, and I'm just going to form a layer at the bottom, a very thin layer. Cut up the pieces, so that they fit exactly. Like this. So just press them down so that they form a firm layer without any gaps in between. Now I've divided the vanilla ice cream into 3 equal parts. To one part I'm going to add about a cup of mango puree. This is the puree out of 1 mango exactly. And I'm going to mix it in really well. Now if you don't have mangoes at home, you can just add the mango color and the mango essence. So mix it in well till you get this lovely pale orange or pale yellow kind of color. So now I'm just going to pour this into on top of the cake to about 2 inches of thickness, and then I'm going to freeze this for about at least 2 hours. After that, to the next part, I'm going to add some strawberry essence, and I'm going to add a little bit of pink color. Now ensure that the first layer is completely solidified, and then only add the second layer, otherwise the 2 colors will mix together. Then again freeze this for about 2 hours, and to the third layer I'm going to add some pista color or light green color along with some pista essence. And when the second layer is solidified, add the third pista layer. And now I'm just going to add a little bit of chopped cashew nuts. And then I'm going to put a cling foil on top of it so that we don't have any ice crystals forming on top. And then you're going to freeze this overnight or for at least minimum of 8 to 10 hours. Don't be in a hurry to demold it, guys. And then once it's ready, just lift up the cling foil. It comes off very easily. And then again, I'm going to put a lot of chopped nuts on top. And just press the nuts on top. You have to work very fast. Otherwise, it will just start to melt. And your cassata is all ready. And now I'm just going to cut it up. So transfer it to a cutting board. It's easier that way. And use a nice sharp knife. It does require a little bit of extra effort because it's frozen. And you can see how the layers are formed, and you have the nice cake base at the bottom and lots of nuts on the top. And this is one slice of cassata. It's delicious, guys. You have to try this out. I thought I'd just share this recipe with you. You can make whatever flavors you want. So I hope you try out this. So friends, let's start with today's recipe of kalakanda. It's a super simple and easy recipe. So here I've taken 1 liter of milk and now I'm going to bring this to a gentle boil. Then I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of vinegar and I'm going to split the milk. Basically we're making paneer or cottage cheese. So once the milk splits, just cook it for about a minute. It will curdle up like this. And after a minute, just switch off the heat. And now we're going to strain this mixture over a muslin cloth. So I've just kept a sieve on top of a vessel and put this muslin cloth on top of it. And now we're just going to tie this up like this, squeeze out all the excess water, and then just put a heavy weight on it and keep it aside for 30 minutes till all the liquid drains out. Now I've taken half a liter of milk and I'm going to boil it till it reduces to half. Once it reduces to half its quantity, I'm going to add some elaichi powder, about 1 teaspoon, and some saffron strands. Now this saffron strands, I'm also going to add half a cup of sugar. Now the saffron strands have to be added if you want that lovely saffron color. If you want to retain the white color of your kalakanda, then skip the saffron. Now we're just going to stir this till it all comes together. Now after 30 minutes the paneer or the cottage cheese has formed, so I'm just going to transfer it to a bowl and now I'm going to just crumble it with my fingers like this. Now I'm going to add this to my mixture, the milk mixture, which has reduced to half. And now we're just going to stir all of this till it thickens up and it starts to leave the sides of the vessel. So I timed myself, it took me exactly 15 minutes on a low to medium flame. Don't keep your milk on a high flame because then you'll get this typical burnt milk smell. And continuously stir it. Use a wooden spoon with a long handle because that way, it becomes easier. The spoon doesn't heat up. So now you'll see it has started to thicken. And then it all comes together like this. So now our mixture is ready. Here I have some nuts which I've chopped up roughly, and I've also just greased my tray, which is about a inch thickness. This is a 6 by 6 tray with just 1 inch thickness. And now I'm just going to transfer this mixture onto the tray. And I'm just going to even it out. Now I want it to be exactly 1 inch thickness. That's why I'm only, thickening it up to that much or just smoothing it up to that part. Now I just added a few drops of ghee. And now I'm just going to sprinkle the chopped nuts on top. And now I'm going to refrigerate this for 1 hour. You can refrigerate it for 2 to 3 hours also. It sets really very fast. And it's all ready. Now all we have to do is just cut it up into squares and serve it. This is a very delicious dessert and it's super simple to make also. All you need is some, basically basundi kind of a mixture as well as some paneer. So now I'm just going to cut it up like this. It is a little bit crumbly, just slightly crumbly, but that's okay. That's the texture of the kalakanda. But it has set. And you can see, you can easily cut up slices like this. So do try out this recipe, guys, and let me know how you like it. I'll catch you in my next recipe. See you. Take care. Bye. With today's lovely honey bell like cakes. So here I have 3 eggs. This is 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence mixed with 1 teaspoon of honey. This is 3 tablespoons of milk. This is about 3/4 of a cup of butter at room temperature. This is 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour or maida, 3/4 cup of icing sugar, a teaspoon of baking powder. So those are our ingredients. That's all we require. Now I'm going to add the milk to the eggs. We are also going to be adding a mixture of honey and vanilla essence, and we're going to whisk the mixture together. Now you could increase the amount of honey to 2 teaspoons also, but I like to keep it a little bit less. I don't want the honey to overpower the flavor of this dish. Now I'm going to mix up all the dry ingredients. So I'm adding my baking powder to the all-purpose flour maida, and I'm just going to mix it in together. Now we're going to add the icing sugar a little at a time and whisk everything well together. So I mixed in about half of the icing sugar first, and now I'm going to pour in the rest of the icing sugar and mix everything well together. So here we have all our dry ingredients together and give everything a good mix. So now since all our dry ingredients are nice and mixed together, we're going to add our butter, which has to be at room temperature. And then we're going to fold in the butter into the dry ingredients. They have to get in well, mixed up well. That is, the butter and the dry ingredients should be mixed up very, very well. And then we're going to add half of our wet ingredients. And we are going to give everything a good mix. Now you can switch to a whisk. We found that the whisk was much more helpful once we added the wet ingredients. And then we're going to add the remaining of the wet ingredients mixture. Now you will realize that this batter is a little on the thicker and denser side. It's not very, very liquidy or light. It is a little on the denser side. But that's how we want the cake batter to be. So give everything a good mix so that all the ingredients get mixed up very, very well. Now this would be a good time to preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Now I'm going to leave the measures of everything in the description box below. Now you get these type of cake molds in this long honeybell kind of shape, honeybell cake shape. So just take a scooper and or any spoon, a regular spoon, and just scoop in the mixture. Don't worry if it's not all very neat, because once we tap down the baking tin, everything gets settled very well. So just fill that in. I'm just showing you a close-up of how I'm filling in the mixture. And here we have about 15 of these honeybell type of cakes, and I'm going to put them in my oven, and I'm going to bake them for at least 30 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius. Now you will see how beautifully they keep changing color, and they get a lovely, nice, dark brown coating on the top. And now we're just going to test them by poking a knife, and if a knife comes out nice and clean, that means your cakes are all ready. So it took me exactly 25 minutes in my oven, but every oven is different. So now we're just going to let them cool on a rack like this. Let them completely cool down. And our honey bell kind of cake is all ready to enjoy. So once it has cooled down, you can just take off the paper wrapping. Excuse the pink color on my hand. I was preparing some icing and I got a little bit of color on my fingers. And now you can see it's a little bit warm still, but once you break it, it's so soft on the inside and it is so very, very delicious. So now you can make your own honey bell cakes at home. You can even decorate them with some icing. And it's so soft and so moist and just perfect.